Mr. Hudson, such a pleasure to talk to you today, and congratulations on this film. And thank you for taking a little bit of your time to talk to me. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. It's great to talk to you. Yeah, I'm excited about this film in particular.
So as a kid, I grew up on the original Ghostbusters films from the 80s, obviously. So I was happy and ecstatic to see you reunite on screen with the other guys for this new film. So first off, I wanted to ask you, how did it feel getting the team back together again? And how was your experience of getting to wear the suit, getting the proton pack back once more in your back, and working with Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray again in this film?
Well, over the past almost 30 years, we've always kept contact. I don't see them on a regular basis, but and it gotten to a point where I didn't believe this was actually going to happen. But when Jason Reitman called and it kind of came together, my first day on the set, we had the scene where we had to put on the jumpsuits, and seeing Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd in the jumpsuits with the backpacks, it was very emotional because this film has been such a huge part of my life and my connection with my fan base. I've done a lot of movies, but Ghostbusters is that sort of, centerpiece. And I've seen Sigourney Weaver and Annie Potts and meeting the new cast, and Paul Rudd I was a fan of, but to get a chance to be with him on the set, it was, my wife said, you're kind of tearing up a little bit. It was kind of emotional for me.
I thought this film was the perfect passing of the torch of sorts to a new generation of Ghostbusters. It was nostalgic, but with fan service, but also always serving the story, which is important. So how do you feel now, knowing that the film did great in the box office and was well received not only by the fans, but also the critics?
That is really the most important thing. I knew there are Ghostbuster fans out there that have been loyal for 30 plus years. But the question, would they brave COVID and still go to the theaters? And it showed that they cared enough to take the risk. And now that it's out on Blu-ray and streaming and video, where families have access to it, I'm really excited because a lot of people, especially with small children now, it's always been a movie that you can introduce your kids to. And little kids love it. And so that's, for me, the exciting thing, because I've always felt fans have asked me, like, when? And I never had an answer. So now we have an answer.
I know you can't give exact details and etc., but based on the post-credit scene where we'll see Winston returning to the original Ghostbusters base in New York, will we have a new installment? Is there developing a new sequel? Are you game to returning once again for more Winston? What can you tell us without any details, exact details and stuff?
Well, you remember my line from the first movie, if there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you say. So,
that is true. That is the most important, yeah.
Yeah, and I love to work. I mean, I'm at a point in my life where I'm only really doing things that I enjoy doing, but I'd love to see a continuation, but I never really hope for anything in this business until it's real. But I think the fans are there, and I really appreciate Jason Reitman kind of correcting some things that I never really felt comfortable with. When I was after the first Ghostbuster movie, I would go to schools and talk to little 4, 5, 6 year, elementary school kids, and they would always ask this weird question of, where does Winston go? And it took me a while to get what they meant, but because we see him, but he disappears. We don't. Does he have a family? Does he go? And I think Jason addressed that, and it meant a lot to me personally that he did.
Yes, it definitely worked as for your character to see all that background a little bit and see what he's been doing all this time. And I loved it. So again, Mr. Hudson, it's a pleasure to talk to you today for a little bit. Congratulations on Ghostbusters Afterlife. And thank you for taking a little bit of your time to talk to me. I appreciate it.
Great talking to you, man. Just the best to you and this 2022.
Yeah, and we wish you the best always. And saludos from Puerto Rico.
Take care.